The deep state prevented President Trump from fully executing the duties that the citizens of the United States of America elected him to perform. Trump was an outsider and threatened their power. The deep state in Horry County named themselves the GOP Pirates. Their goal is to prevent HCGOP Chairman Roger Slagle from executing the duties that the citizens of Horry County elected him to perform. Slagle is an outsider and threatens their power. Reese Boyd III of the Davis & Boyd law firm lost to Roger Slagle in his bid to become chair of the Horry County GOP in 2021. He quickly formed a deep state gang that he named the GOP Pirates, whose goal was to usurp the authority the voters of Horry County bestowed upon their duly elected leadership. Reese Boyd invited Shannon Grady, former president of the Horry County Republican Women's Club, to be one of 5 pirates who would secretly work with Drew McKissick to undermine the HCGOP.
Why Drew McKissick would be on the side of Reese Boyd, because that was his ultimate goal. Not necessarily have Reese. I'll just tell you, I'll just be brutally honest with you. He asked me to run for chair. He wanted me to be the chair of the HCGOP. Not Reese, because he said, and I'll say it, I know he's going to hate this too, but he said Reese had no spine. That's probably one of the things I still can agree with. Reese does not have a spine. That is a true statement.
Does it matter if I clap?
You can clap. I would clap. Because he didn't think he could stand up to folks, and I think that is true. But that is why Drew was so excited, because he thought, wait, I can do it this way and not have to do any other legal maneuvering to make this happen. And I know some of you are new for Jay, but Jay just came in today. So the best way to bring you up to speed in the shortest amount of time, your video is what, 15 minutes? 22 minutes. He's got a great video that will literally walk you right through it. In his pictures, it's just, I'm a teacher, so as a former administrator, A+ work, buddy. That was brilliant. It's really good, really well done. But it lays it out. So at the end of the day, Drew is not the authority. He's not determined who the chairs are. He does not determine who the vice chair is, who the state EC is, or who any of the county ECs are. That is determined by we the people. And we do that at convention. And the last time I checked, if Drew could just wave a magic pencil and say, you shall be my chair, well, then we wouldn't need conventions at all. We just let Drew be the dictator and say who's in charge. But that's not how it works. So the biggest problem, I guess, and some of you know this already, I've said this before, is that when I came to the realization that what I had done, what I had been party to, was the equivalent of basically taking away your rights as voters and saying, I don't care how you voted, I know better. That's wrong. What I did was wrong. And so it doesn't matter whether we like who was elected, so long as that was legally done, we have to accept that. Now, we can get into the discussion of what's legal and what's not legal with elections here lately in Arizona. But anyway, when it's legally done, we have to follow through, and I should have gotten behind Roger and the leadership team, and we should have worked to help them rather than immediately beginning to work to undermine them, which is what we did. And we as the Republican Party, we have to start recognizing that, yes, we're going to have differences of opinion, and folks, that's a good thing.
Please visit goppirates.welovegolf.com and watch the video titled GOP Pirates Chat to see what Shannon was referring to. Reorganization of the GOP, or reorg, occurs every other year. Citizens from their precinct elect officers and delegates to county and state conventions. At the county convention, county officers are elected. At the state convention, the state GOP chairman is elected. The establishment keeps reorg as a closely guarded secret. That way, they can retain all the power. Thanks to Presley Stutz of My SCGOP and Chad and Elizabeth Caton of I'm Fired Up, getting the word out, Reorg 2021 had a record participation. The establishment motto of keep it small to rule them all was replaced by the Big Ten policy of all are welcome. South Carolina GOP Chairman Drew McKissick worked with the Pirates to crush the new and duly elected leadership. He refused to recognize the leadership because they were not part of the cabal that he wanted to win. He said the winning MAGA patriots he didn't like would turn the party into a complete dumpster fire, and that it would essentially become a leper colony for the next year and a half. The king also decreed that the state party was prepared to support rival GOP organizations created by sane Republicans, He told a Post and Courier reporter, "We will help them do that in every way." McKissick used the Horry County Republican Women's Club to circumnavigate around the duly elected leadership of the HCGOP. Emperor McKissick called an unscheduled and unneeded off-year convention to pass an omnibus resolution. In the resolution, he decreed that the state executive committee had the ability to revoke the charter of any county he chooses. He also decreed that the county had no recourse against his decision. Due to constant negative pressure from the gasoline-throwing pirates, the tyrannical McKissick, and the complicit media, many members left the HCGOP. Chairman Slagle offered to resign. Like Trump, Roger was a self-made businessman who got into politics because he wanted to give back. Roger hoped his resignation would stop the attacks on the HCGOP. He was not in it for personal gain or power, and if his resignation might help the HCGOP, then so be it. In support of Roger, the entire leadership team resigned. Many people from across the state were proud of Chairman Slagle's tenacity in standing up for them against McKissick's power grab. They asked him to reconsider his resignation. On September 26th, Chairman Slagle called for a meeting to elect new leadership. On the slate were vice chairman and state executive committeemen. The executive committee, including the pirates, recognized that Slagle had the authority as chairman to preside over the election. At the meeting, Roger announced that he was not going to resign. The meeting had a 2/3 quorum, as is required for election of officers in the HCGOP bylaws, and was legally called for by the chairman. The following is GOP pirate Jerry McDaniel at that September 26th special meeting. As you will see, Jerry has an unlimited capacity to lie with absolute decisiveness.
Point of order, Nancy. Chairman. First of all, I've been on the phone constantly with attorneys in Columbia. I've had phone calls all weekend. I just was on the phone with Drew an hour ago.
Jerry did not know that Roger was going to withdraw his resignation until that night. She was not on the phone with lawyers and Drew McKissick all day. She just found out.
You cannot be rescinded.
Chairman Slagle can indeed withdraw his resignation at any time before a vote on his resignation is held.
It's already been accepted and registered in Columbia.
Chairman Slagle's resignation could not have been accepted and registered in Columbia. The resignation needed to be voted on and accepted by the HCGOP's ECs. That did not happen.
So if you want to run the next time, the next 6 months, but you cannot run for it, and that's the rules.
Jerry is making up rules. If there was a rule, the attorneys in Columbia would have given her the rule to cite. McKissick wrote a letter saying there is no provision to unresign or rescind a resignation in the rules. If there is no provision, as McKissick states, then Robert's Rules of Order must be followed. According to Robert's Rules for Dummies, the power to accept a resignation and fill a vacancy lies exclusively with the same body that gave the officer the job, and no other action can validly fill the vacancy. McKissick does not have the power to accept a resignation.
Now, it was sent to me in an email with her.
If there was an email from attorneys, Reese would have presented it as an exhibit in the upcoming court case. Reese did present a letter from McKissick saying there was no provision about rescinding.
Like it's sent to them, you cannot run this time. It's been accepted. It's been accepted.
This will be important.
This is legally accepted by attorneys in Columbia.
Jerry is blowing smoke. There is no such thing as being accepted by attorneys in Columbia. It is up to HCGOP ECs to accept. Mike Connett, the provisional chairman, whispered to a woman in front of him to adjourn the meeting. He forced the legal meeting to end. We will be getting into the legal reasons why Chairman Slagle remains chairman. First, let's look at this through the lens of common sense. The meaning of effective date is the day when a rule, law, contract, etc. starts to be used. On September 12, 2022, Roger told the ECs that he wished to resign. The effective date was going to be 9/30/22. He withdrew his resignation on 9/26. 9/26 is before 9/30. He never resigned. Reese Boyd went on the radio and cited the playground law of, quote, no backsies as the legal provision to explain why Chairman Slagle could not continue as chairman. McKissick wrote a letter stating that there is no provision to unresign or rescind a resignation in the rule. McKissick did not want to gamble with his future. McKissick did not want the duly elected Chairman Slagle to run an honest election that he might lose. He told the pirate group to hold an election to oust the duly elected chairman and replace him with his puppet, Reese Boyd III of the Davis and Boyd law firm. Why did McKissick decide election interference was the best option? Because he could give the official reorg documents to the new group of puppets he oversaw. He knew that the grassroots patriots would not participate in a sham election he was running. To McKissick, the ends justify the means, and McKissick meant to get reelected. If McKissick would have said that the legally called for meeting that had a quorum should proceed, then the HCGOP would not be divided in two. He chose division. The division could not have happened without his guidance and consent. Common sense says Roger is still the chairman. What is the law used in this case? HCGOP bylaws and South Carolina GOP rules both state that all meetings not covered by these bylaws or rules shall conform to Robert's Rules of Order, latest edition. Robert's Rules of Order, 12th edition, 32.1. Resignation is a request to be excused from a duty. In these cases, a member cannot, as a matter of right, decline such a duty or demand that he or she be excused from it. But the Assembly, except as bylaws may provide, can grant the member's request to be excused. Roger's attempt to be excused from duty was never voted on and therefore never accepted. At no time did the body give permission for Chairman Slagle to resign. At no time was Chairman Slagle not the chairman. McKissick saying that he accepted the resignation is meaningless. Only the duly elected ECs who represent the people of their precincts have the authority to accept a resignation. At the 2021 County Convention, Mike Conant was elected as provisional chair. The sole function of the provisional chairman shall be to assume the duties of the chairman in the event that both the chairman and or vice chairman positions should simultaneously become vacant and they are unable to serve. On October 11th, 2022, Mike Conant led the election as acting provisional chair. Roger never vacated his chairmanship, therefore Conant had no authority to act as provisional chair. The meeting was illegal from the start. The following is an edited copy of a Facebook Live video showing the pirate group illegally holding an election, without the chairman and without a quorum. If a Facebook Live video replay is shown from the original page, it will say, was live. A timestamp showing when the live broadcast started can be seen by clicking on the date. A copy will not say was live and won't show the date. A Facebook Live video can be trimmed at the start or the end. The rest cannot be altered.
Well, that's what we're counting. Well, I see it matters because, then the two-thirds, the majority that we need for a quorum operating under, I believe it was 80 precincts. How many do we have here right now? She's got 46 right now as far as what we have. Now, this is how I'm going to read this in this, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it. And once again, I'm sorry that we have to do this way.
Say what?
And I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it. And once again, I'm sorry that we have to do this way. In the section in our bylaws that addresses this specific meeting, it says basically, Section 2, election of provisional Horry County Republican County Chairman. And most of you folks, I sent that with my first email so that you would understand it. So this is the line that's basically we're going to deal with here. The county executive committee must convene within 30 days to elect a permanent chairman and vice chairman to fill the extant vacancies. This provision may be waived if a regularly scheduled county party convention is to be held within 90 days. This is the important part. A quorum of the county executive committee shall be a majority of voting members. Get it? So what that means is if we have 80 precincts and we have 47 people here right now, then we can go ahead and conduct a meeting.
The only time quorum for regular meetings is mentioned in the HCGOP bylaws is in the paragraph he just read. Mike chose not to read the next paragraph to the audience. The next paragraph specifically and unequivocally addresses the requirement for a quorum of 2/3 to elect leadership. Mike read this, but did not read the relevant paragraph. In case of a vacancy occurring in the office of chairman, vice chairman, or executive committeeman, a quorum for the purpose of electing an individual to fill the vacancy shall be 2/3 of the membership of the executive committee. Robert's Rules of Order states, in the absence of a quorum, any business transacted is null and void. Therefore, the pirate election is null and void. At the illegal election that did not have a quorum, Reese Boyd III was elected as chairman, Robert Visconti was elected as vice chairman, and Mike Connett was elected as state executive committeeman. The HCGOP had documents drawn up stating that the rogue pirate group had to cease and desist from using the HCGOP name. A process server was hired to deliver the document. The process server went to a restaurant where the pirates were having a Christmas party to serve documents to the leadership team. She placed the documents on the cars of the people being served. Then she waited in her car to make sure they did not throw the documents away. One of the pirates had been served earlier and recognized the process server and her car. The pirates got into the cars and used them to block the process server from leaving. She narrowly escaped, but they chased her to a traffic light and then tried to block her escape again. Robert Visconti, a proud pirate and vice president of the fake HCGOP, got out of his car and slammed the hood of the process server. The process server called 911 and 2 officers arrived. She wanted to go to the police station to file a report. They told her that doing it online would be fine. She was unable to file online because it would say improper jurisdiction or would not submit. She did write an affidavit about the events. See the full affidavit at goppirates.welovegolf.com. Pirate group took the HCGOP to magistrate court. Magistrates have civil jurisdiction when the amount in controversy does not exceed $7,500. The pirates wanted a printer, tables and chairs, and miscellaneous documents that are kept in a storage unit. They were not interested in a $30,000 bank account. The judge in this case was Bradley Myers. Judge Myers has no law degree, limited understanding of Robert's Rules of Order, and is appointed by and beholden to lawyer legislators to be reappointed every 4 years. He told Reese that he usually settles arguments over who owns a toaster. The judge then suggested that the parties meet in a room to try and work it out. After a short time, the pirates stormed out. Either McKissick was so concerned that the pirate group should win the tables and chairs that he paid for another lawyer to help Reese out, or he sent a lawyer to create the illusion that in winning a case over tables and chairs in court, that the fake pirate group had some kind of legitimacy. At the second hearing, Reese called upon one witness to attest to the events that occurred at the illegal election meeting of October 11th, 2022. He called upon Jerry McDaniel to recall the events as she remembered them. Jerry was part of the original 5 pirates that plotted against the HCGOP. Reese's only witness to the illegal meeting was not at the meeting in question. She was at another meeting an hour and 15 minutes away. Jerry committed perjury. Reese committed subornation of perjury. It was Reese's professional responsibility to reveal to the court that a witness was lying. Both Reese and Jerry had a tough time recalling what happened at the illegal election when asked by the HCGOP attorney. Reese could have provided the facts to the court and prevented both he and Jerry from committing perjury. The secretary who took down the minutes was in the courtroom the day of the hearing. The secretary's name was June Avenger. June had no shame in taking over the Horry County Republican Women's Club after the whistleblower exposed McKissick's plot to use them to bypass dealing with the leadership that the voters of Horry County elected. The HCGOP attorney wanted to show the court an unedited Facebook Live video, but the judge would not allow it. The video showed that there was not a 2/3 quorum as required by law.
Well, see, it matters because then the majority that we need for a quorum, two-thirds.
The judge did not allow the recording to be shown in court because he thought that he knew what it would show. He didn't know and didn't want to see. He went on to say that he didn't think the parliamentarian was in the video. The parliamentarian was in the video. The judge did allow unverified letters from McKissick that were not submitted in affidavit form to be allowed. It needs to be said once again that the letters from McKissick are irrelevant because it is the executive committee of the Horry County who decides. Reese submitted 0 statutes to the judge that showed that McKissick had the authority to oust the duly elected leadership of the Horry County GOP. The puppet master McKissick gave the 2023 HCGOP reorganization paperwork to the pirate group instead of the duly elected leadership. The pirate group lied and told good people that McKissick had the authority to make decisions about how the party should be run. Several people joined the group. Members who knew the law did not attend their illegal election. John Adams wrote that we are a government of laws and not of men, to prevent self-serving people like McKissick from attaining their power-hungry quest to subjugate the little people who he views as peasants. Thomas Jefferson said, "When once a republic is corrupted, there is no possibility of remedying any of the growing evils but by removing the corruption and restoring its lost principles. Every other correction is either useless or a new evil." McKissick believes in the leftist philosophy of centralized control, top-down, authoritarian rule. McKissick believes that he is in charge. We, the people Republicans, know that the Constitution embodies man's natural rights for self-government with a maximum limitation on government power to keep McKissick types in check. We, the people patriots, believe in a bottom-up philosophy where we are in charge. Plato warned that the price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Drew McKissick is currently the co-chair of the RNC. The people of Horry County and the state of South Carolina have the power to vote him out of office in 2025. This is the only way to end the rule of McKissick over the rule of law. For a more detailed explanation of Jerry's and Reese's perjury and exact provisions in Robert's Rules of Order, HCGOP bylaws, and SCGOP rules, please watch Pirate Perjury in-depth analysis. Watch the video at goppirates.welovegolf.com. Trump said that we need to drain the swamp. McKissick is the swamp. McKissick is now co-chair of the RNC. He will continue to work against the wishes of the people if it serves his only purpose, to get reelected. If we can take back the county party from the swampy establishment cabal, then we can help the rest of the state by voting in a true conservative who believes in the rule of law. This will help the whole country because the McSickness virus that has infected the Republican Party will have been eliminated. It all starts local. What we do locally can change the country for the better. We must get rid of the McSickness that has divided our local GOP and other county GOPs before he does the same to our country. You can join the Horry County GOP. You can easily become a delegate, and you can vote for like-minded delegates. You can vote McKissick out in 2025. You can drain the swamp. You can take the power away from the corrupt establishment. You can give that power back to